And Lando, reflect on your qualifying. Whoa.
You stampede with me. Sorry.
You brought a crowd.
Are you okay? Good.
Aggressive, Oscar.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, all right. Jesus.
Yeah, thank you.
That was in my face.
I love the passion.
Yeah, there you go. You could call it that. Where were we? Yes. Was that all you could got out of today?
I think give or take. If it wasn't, I probably would have done a better job, but I didn't. So I think we were expecting, most out of the car. Of course, there's little corners here and there, and the first other lap I was a tenth and a half up. I think similar for Oscar. But it's just when we're at the limit, like you take a bit more out of the tire early on, you lose a bit at the end of the lap. It's just kind of give and take, which shows I think we're getting what we could out of the car, and was good enough, P2 and P3, so a pretty good day for us.
I mean, that sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Oscar,
good.
your first time here, you're obviously pretty handy at learning new circuits, front row. It's you must be delighted with that.
Yeah, I'm very happy, of course, to have both of us in the top three is nice, and I think we made some good improvements overnight. I think I made some good improvements. I think having a night's sleep to digest the circuit's always a nice thing. So, yeah, I think the only thing is we wish the gap to Max was a bit smaller, but
so does everybody else, by the way.
Exactly. So, no, apart from that,
Max.
I think we're pretty happy.
Yeah, like massive congrats to you both. It must feel like a world different to where you started the year. To be P2 and P3 is like an amazing result at the circuit. How confident are you feeling going into tomorrow? You're in a very strong position, 2 against 1 against Red Bull, and extra hard, I think, in your allocation.
If you think we're going to challenge the Red Bull, then I don't know what you've been watching. I think if we can get them off the line, we'll try. And we did a similar thing in Silverstone. So, I mean, the Red Bull is 6/10 a lap quicker on a single run, and normally the race pace from a Red Bull is even better. So,
yeah,
you never know. Suzuka, many things can happen, have in the past. And like you said, we have 2 cars to try and get him, but we also have a lot of quick cars behind us. We have the Perez, who's in a lot quicker car than us, and Leclerc, who's in a similarly competitive car. So, it's going to be probably a race of more of the cars behind, but we have 2 cars up there, and we have good pace all weekend. So I think we can be confident we can have a good one.
Natalie was rightly pointing out just before, your trajectory at McLaren is sort of crisscross with Aston. We're saying, Fernando P10, a second nearly behind the best of the McLarens today. What does it feel like in the cockpit, Oscar? Because it's quite amazing to see the turnaround you guys have had. Just try and put it into words, because can you feel that difference? What's it like?
Just night and day better, huh?
Does it do everything better?
It does everything a little bit better, I would say. I think the strengths and weaknesses are still quite similar, which we're trying to improve and work on. But of course, the most important thing at the moment is making us quicker, and however we can achieve that is good. So, of course, you always feel like you want to get more out of the car. If we were racing against nobody, at the high-speed corners are our strength. If we were racing against ourselves, we'd probably still be saying the high speed feels bad. So, we still have some weaknesses we're trying to improve on, but the feeling of being at the top of the timesheets instead of near the bottom is definitely the biggest difference.
Well, it's great that you're always pushing for perfection, but when you actually think about where you've come from, did it come as a surprise to you? Were you told sort of internally, hold your breath, we'll get there, don't worry, and perhaps it came a bit sooner than you expected, but...
In a little way, I think the jumps we've made in terms of positions have probably been more than we were expecting. I don't think at any point this season we were going like, could we get close to qualifying on pole in certain places? Would we have certain podiums so early on in the season? It would have been a hard no in the beginning of the year, but I think we were very patient. We knew very early on in the year, like, we were not going to be great, but we knew some good things were coming. But like I said, just the position jumps we've had to be quicker than Ferrari, quicker than Mercedes, from having a much worse car. I think that's what's been so impressive, is how much we've improved this year. So the team are doing an exceptional job. I think that's clear from how much we've improved, and to be fighting for front rows and things like that. But it's deserved. Everyone's working so hard. A lot of changes here and there, in the past couple of years, but we're on the right trajectory, which is the main thing.
You always want more as drivers. I mean, how does the debrief work when you go and look at Max's time, 6/10 ahead of the pack? Do you go back in the factory during the week and sort of try and look at onboards or overlays and try and judge, where Red Bull and Max particularly are quicker than you?
I'll pass this one to Oscar.
There you go.
I mean, I'm sure we'll look at it now and probably have a few sighs at a couple of the corners.
I think we know. Like, if you ask us now, where do you think they're quicker?
Where do you think they're quicker?
that's confidential. But I mean, you'll see it on GPS. You'll see it, easily. It's just that I would say they have a slightly more drivable car. I mean, I say that, but I don't know, maybe not. It just, they can perform at almost all tracks. Like before Singapore, I'd say every track they've been able to just perform, and they have a very drivable car that performs well in all conditions, different things. And I would say we always have to, and our comments are very much aligned, but we always have to drive right on like a knife edge of the car. And I feel like we can both get there. It's hard to make many more steps forward from that. Yeah. And we just want to open up that window to be able to drive in different conditions, not have to set the car up perfectly and drive in such a way. And we've worked on it. We've opened it up a little bit, but not enough. And I think, and it's clear, but it's also our job to drive the car we get given. We get paid enough money to just drive whatever car, whether it's good or bad. And at the minute, and like Oscar said, we'd rather have a quick car, which is difficult to drive, than a slow one. And
never had a driver say he's been paid enough money. That's the best.
Well, it's a credit to the work that you've put in earlier in the year through having a bad car to get to this car now. There's been a lot of work from both of your side, obviously, to get there. Yeah. How difficult do you think tomorrow is going to be? The hot conditions, a lot of talk about tyre degradation here in terms of a very different race to potentially what we've had in the past. What do you sort of envisage tomorrow? What can you tell us about the strategy?
She loves a bit of tyre deg chat, does this one. Oh, she loves it. It's great. Good insight. We're going to have a little birdie masterclass later when we're having sushi, aren't we?
I think it's going to be a tough race. I think just looking at the practice sessions yesterday, like some cars were 2 or 3 seconds a lap slower after 10 laps. So it's going to be difficult for everybody. I think the undercut's going to be very strong. Just by looking at the tyre choices from everyone, clearly they're trying to save some tyres. Max did that qualifying session on 3 sets of tyres. Which adds to the pain a little bit, but it's going to be tough tomorrow. But I think we can be confident we can be strong and try and lock in a podium.
Just before we let you go, has Zach given you guys a target? I mean, you are 78 points behind Aston Martin. Has he said to you, right, what's attainable? Let's go for it.
He always tells us that, like, if we're in this position, he would have qualified on pole. So
yeah, he would have. He just said he would have been on pole today, Zach. Yeah. So I think he's our target. But I think we do. I think we need to score the best result we can, and I think we're definitely not out of the fight until the end of the year. So we're doing our best. I think days like today show it, and we've had some great results over the last couple of months. Aston are struggling a little bit more, so tomorrow we can capitalize on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think just on that one, I used to race engineer Zach, and he never put it on pole.
Really?
But maybe he's going to blame his engineering.
Someone's lying.
Yeah. We'll remind
My money's on Bernie to tell the truth. Good luck tomorrow. Thanks very much. Go well. Great to see you. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. I'll take those for you. About to get swamped. Okay, let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. Little huddle. Let's talk a little bit more about Ferrari, because I don't think we've taken a deep dive into their day just yet.